I could not be any more irritated because I literally filmed this video like 3 times and I just like, I keep messing it up or somebody's in the background and it's just overly loud. I don't know. And I'm getting irritated because I literally keep repeating the same points but in different ways. And they're all great points, but it's like I can't even really express it the same as I want to because I didn't redid this video like 3 times. But anyways, the video was about gentle parenting and how I feel like gentle parenting is actually just parenting, and how I feel like a lot of people try to use or see gentle parenting as like this bad thing or this thing you shouldn't do because that's why kids gonna act like this or that's why kids is acting like this. And I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just weird to me because I feel like if you actually look at what gentle parenting is, it's literally just parenting. It's not disciplining your kids. It's just disciplining your kids in an alternative way than what was done to you or or people or your grandmama or your mama. Like it's just it's just different and it's the way it's supposed to be. Like you shouldn't be out here abusing your kids emotionally, verbally, or physically to like try to discipline your kid. Like to me, I feel like, especially when we're speaking of like black parents, because speaking to black parents, because I had a black parent and everybody around me that I know obviously had a black parent for real. So it's like, speaking to them, it's like you didn't parent. You literally instilled fear into your kid and hoping that did it. Like hoping that was enough to like discipline your kid or to like parent your kid. When in reality, no, it didn't. All it did was make your kid shut down, make your kid not talk to you, and then in the future, made your kid probably go no contact. And then when it comes to, you know, expressing that when you're older, I feel like a lot of parents be confused of like, where is this coming from? Or now I was a bad parent and I did X, Y, Z. And mind you, the X, Y, Z was literally just them providing you basic necessities. Like you feeding me, you putting a roof on my head, you putting clothes on my back is the bare minimum. You decided to have me, so you do not get to throw that in your kid's face. You know what I'm saying? Like as if I owe you because you decided to have a kid and do the basic necessities. Like that's not all that a kid needs. It's just food and, you know, and a roof. Like obviously they need that. But I'm probably like over time it's like they need stuff way more, and I feel like like parents shouldn't throw that in their kids' faces that like if you did something like out of the ordinary, like you did what you were supposed to do as a parent. And even then, you still had a choice not to do that either. Like if you didn't want to, like, but I feel like a lot of parents make their kids like a burden, or make their kids like feel like they owe them like for the rest of their life. Like even when it comes to when you're grown and you're paying for stuff and they asking, oh, can I get this? Can you do this? And they just assume that you are supposed to give it because, oh, I took care of you all of my life, like all of your life. When it's like, well, duh. And then some of them don't even do that. Like in my experience, you didn't do that. Like you didn't take care of me all of my life or all of my like, you know, non-adult years. You didn't do that either. Like so it's just like a lot of them be expecting, because you pushed me out and like fed me, that I'm supposed to like give you everything in the world. And that's not saying that you should disrespect your parents or whatever case may be, or treat them like strangers unless they did something. Because some of them, some parent stories that I've heard, I would treat my parent like a stranger if that was me. But it's also saying like you don't owe them nothing, or it's not a given right that you have to do this and that for them because they did the bare minimum. But anyways, back to black parents, and I feel like they think that they can beat you and physically, emotionally, verbally abuse you, and then think as you get older, y'all are gonna have this like close relationship, or that you're gonna want to talk to them. And it's like, no, you literally treated me worse than an animal, like, or like I was some random like thing off the street. Like you treated your kids like property, and then expected them to want to have a relationship with you, or want to talk to you, or want to tell you stuff. Now that they're an adult, no. Like I don't want to talk to you, like, or they don't want to talk to you because of that. And it's like, I feel like a lot of black parents don't see how they're like imitating slave masters when they do that, like when they parent like that. Like gentle parenting is just actually just parenting and giving your child the ability to speak and give their opinion and express themselves. and be able to come to you and talk to you when they make mistakes. Like, that's all gentle parenting is, without it being like, oh, I'm gonna get beat for it because I made a mistake or because I did this. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of black parents really be imitating slave masters because you're psychologically abusing them. You're verbally abusing them, you're emotionally abusing them, and you're physically abusing them. And I feel like a lot of them don't see how that correlates, and how you're literally their slave master, like, in a way, like, not to like compare them to slaves, because obviously a bit different, but I'm saying, like, in the sense of like how they parent, or like how black people parent, like, it's like you're imitating a slave master. Like, so, and it's weird to me that they don't see that. Like, that's why I be saying all the time that white supremacy got us in a chokehold. And I need people to like get it together. But my point is, if you feel like gentle parenting is like bad because, oh, you're not beating your kids or you're not doing that, I have literally seen people who have been beat, like, beat bad, and I'm like, and they come out and be menaces. They're diabolical. Like, they literally are villains. Like, and a lot of people's stories because of that, but they just don't know that that is correlated. I wouldn't say it's just because of that, but I would say, like, it's correlated. Like, that's some trauma that they haven't unpacked yet, and it's in the hands of you as a parent. Like I've seen a lot of parents, or a lot of people who've been beaten by their parents, and they be like, oh, it didn't affect me, and it's like, yeah, it did. You just don't want to admit it yet. Like, you just don't want to feel like a victim, or feel like, you know, it impacted you, like you're weak or something. And it's like, you were a victim. Like, your parents abused you. Like, and that's okay, I feel like, to acknowledge, but I can see how it's hard to acknowledge that, especially if you and your mom or dad, whatever, have worked through that. But at some point, it's gonna like come out for you to unpack it, especially when you start having other relationships with people and whatever case may be. So I feel like, yeah, so I feel like, and also I feel like a lot of people try to say like gentle parenting is why a lot of these kids act the way they act and why they're doing what they're doing. And I feel like a lot of them aren't taking into account as just the way how the world is going, or at least what kids see, like, of how the world is going. Like, these kids are on social media, like, very young, like, starting very young. So it's like, when you are seeing when you're like in middle school, high school, and you're seeing, you know, genocide, or people getting killed, or this happening over here, you just see a bunch of stuff, even if you don't fully understand it, and like where it's coming from or why it's happening. It's like, I feel like you would start to internalize that, because I'm looking at it like as if it was me and I was in like high school or something. Like, I feel like I would internalize that and be like, what am I working towards? Like, as a kid, like, I'm not thinking about no college, I'm not thinking about no family, I'm not thinking about no career. Like, what is the world even gonna look like in the next year, 2 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially the way the world going. Like, and I feel like even as an adult, you kind of think like that, or I'm like kind of thinking like that, where it's like, what am I gonna be doing? Like, or I'm not thinking like 5 years in advance, because I don't even know what the next year and a half is gonna take me, or where it's gonna take the world. So it's like, so I can imagine being like a kid where it's like your life haven't even really started yet, but you're supposed to be thinking about your future, and it's like you don't even know if you really got one. And then if we talking about like the economy, it's like we see that it's getting bad, or it's been bad, and it's like, imagine what they thinking. Like, I'm not gonna even afford to be able, like, I see people that's like 18, 17, and they're seeing, like, I see a lot of 18, 16, 17 year olds who are doing really good, like, whether they got their own business or they're a content creator or whatever, and they do got money and they are doing it like that. But for a lot of people, or most teens, or most like young adults, it's like they're literally, they don't have that stuff. They're not starting off with nothing. Their life hasn't begun yet. So it's like, I'm not even gonna be able to afford a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm probably gonna be staying with my mama forever. So it's like, for them, I can see why it's other factors of why they can't, you know, or why they're making, like, acting a certain way or acting out or misbehaving. Like, it's other factors besides just parenting. Like, it's a lot of people, it's also peer pressure and all of that, because it's like a lot of people can have good parents and still do certain things because they feel like it make them cool, or because they see other people doing it. Like, kids are impressionable. So it's not just, oh, their parents did a bad job or their parents did this. And it's like, no, it's other factors. Like, it's other people or other things that I feel like that could fail a child that isn't just the parent, you know? So I feel like a lot of people try to like put all what's going wrong on like gentle parenting, or try to make it way bigger than what it is, where I feel like it's literally just parenting, and it's just not the parenting that a lot of people grew up with, so they don't want to look at it and be like, oh, it's actually a good thing, which I don't see why people are so resistant to like change, or like wanting to be the best parent that they can be. But I mean, that's to them, for them to like unpack, and like for them to see like at some point in time. But really, that's just my opinions. Like, that was kind of it. And hopefully y'all stop beating y'all kids.